Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. For all of us that have stuff to do today, cheers. I'm about to drink some cold coffee myself here in a minute, and hey, listen, friendly reminder. This isn't dubbed or anything. You're just watching some getting really old guy talk to himself on his bed just after he woke up, but I say the whole dub thing because I don't even see my lips moving at all, and that might be perhaps because you can't really see my lips, and I think that's kind of weird. So as you, the viewer, sit there at home or stand or run or whatever it is that you do while you watch these videos, just know that I am not even sure if it looks like I'm talking. So at this point, I'm fairly shameless, but also trying to work on my cross eye or my lazy eye. I know I see it in the camera sometimes. It's just that angle, and I've been doing these eye exercises, if you would believe me or not. I might be in character, but, I'm just saying, like, the boy's working on it. Today I want to talk about a few things. First of all, I also want to not break character, absolutely not, but definitely thank you guys for subscribing and watching my videos. There's one particular video right now that's doing pretty awesome, and that video ironically has to do with socialism, and it's that very video that has brought in a few more viewers to this channel. So as they say in Spanish, bienvenidos. That means welcome, you feel me? I'm just this guy. Make no mind of me. It's just no big deal. My aspirations in life are little to none, I mean, seriously, it is what it is. Might be in character, but I find it difficult to lie, and for that very reason, I've made it my life's mission to be yours. I'm a transparent guy, and I belong to the very same people that support me and want to see some of the ideas that I have set forth so far as public policy and everything go through on into the future. And I'm thankful forever. Anyways, I want to talk about three different things today. I want to talk about censorship, squirrels, and antitrust legislation. And I'm not gonna lie, I had another cheat sheet today, okay? It's the same cheat sheet, for the record, that I had yesterday. It's just I got a lot going on, including trying to learn how to breathe on camera again. We've talked about this before, but as I snort and snot my way on into this speech, friendly reminder, none of this is scripted. It's all just coming out of my mouth. Well, I guess that's where words come from, but it's just, I don't know what I'm going to say, essentially, I mean, I have these little helpful one-word reminders on sheets of paper that I find around my room, but other than that, I'm pretty much on my own. And not gonna lie, did not forget what we were gonna talk about. Oh, censorship. Okay, yeah, let's just jump right into it before I forget, because I try to condense these videos. I mean, they end up going about 20 minutes or so anyway, but I try to make them so that, they're not that long, and in fact, it is my job to kind of do that. I got very little responsibility so far as it concerns doing my job, right? Which is just to be an amicable guy, I mean, what else is a entertainer, actor, comedian, and future politician to do, you know what I mean? I'm just settling in to my new skin, you feel me? Anyways, sidebar, let's talk about, what is it that we're talking about? Jesus Christ. Censorship. Okay, so censorship was something that was really bothering me. I made a video the other day about how I mean, not in the way that it's being doing, or that it's being done. Forgive me, I do know how to speak English. I'm just saying that, censorship sucks. You feel me? That is not, how the First Amendment works. It's not how, I mean, the First Amendment means a lot, okay, guys? Seriously, it's essentially what makes us different from, a real, actual, acknowledged fascist in charge, or authoritarian, or a totalitarian, or a king or a queen or whatever, you feel me? I'm just saying that very simple and very complex right, which has been bestowed to us, we're stewards of these really cool rights, and honestly, it's a really cool right to be able to say, what is on your mind and not have to conform to the larger ideas that are, quite frankly, just sometimes BS. And we know that, you know what I mean? And we actually live in a country where it should be that we, you know, are able to express our grievances and so forth. And I mean, even if that means you're a fascist. Again, here's your socialist boy over here arguing for equality amongst everyone, including those very hateful people. Look, I'm convinced that hate really doesn't, you know, it kind of fizzles out, just like fires do, you know? They only last so long. It's just people sometimes choose to fuel that fire. They continue to make decisions that make it worse instead of trying to, you know, make it better, all while acknowledging that there are ways to make it better, but why make it better when we can just let it all burn? Anyways, censorship is not a good thing. And the other day I made a video about how I was kind of happy that the late night shows were being targeted. You know, I just am saying that as a consumer, those shows suck. You feel me? They get paid way too much and they do nothing. At least nothing at all helpful for the nation. I mean, yeah, they could be cool talking points for aging Xers and, you know, the silent generation and, oh wait, the baby boomers. Jesus, you know, I'm just saying that, like, nobody had watched network television before anyway. And moreover, again, the thing is with censorship, all right? So, like, Donald Trump has done a really good job of making sure that, you know, he's going full fascist, right? I mean, for example, PBS is no longer going to be a thing, right? I mean, and again, like, if you seriously are going to sit there and say that you've never watched an episode of Sesame Street or you don't know who Barney is, you know, I'm serious. Like what? You know, PBS has always been a part of American culture, whether or not it was started by Richard Nixon. And I think Richard Nixon is the guy who appropriated the amount of funding required that it needed to start the public broadcasting system to begin with. Listen, one, it's all owned by Uncle Sam, all right? Let's not fool ourselves, guys, okay? Fascists or not, you know, everything is essentially owned by the government, and that's all right, because the government sometimes allows us to do things that are empowering, that allow us to express our freedoms in a way that aren't so, you know, like, that we can make a better world for us instead of complying and, you know, trying to be a part of a system that is worse for a lot of people, like way worse for a lot of people than it is good for them. You feel me? And all that I'm saying is that, like, without PBS, I understand that TV's going away and stuff, but it could have went to streaming or something. It just sucks that future generations of Americans, our children and grandchildren, aren't going to be able to have access to a free public station that had, you know, unbiased news on it, whether you like it or not. You feel me? I mean, they produce some really high quality documentaries. It could have been on science, it could have been on theology, where it didn't really matter. PBS was the place for it all. And now it's no longer. And it's only because some fascist decided that they didn't want that around anymore. Now, that's censorship, okay? Again, that's a clear example of a fascist taking away a freedom that otherwise no other sitting president had even thought of doing. I mean, you gotta have a lot of time on your hands to be like, oh, alright, you know, PBS, they didn't endorse me. I'm definitely gonna make sure that the future of millions of children are absolutely tarnished by just making sure they're not around anymore. Not to mention the jobs. You feel me? I mean, we often talk about jobs and how they're going away and stuff, and I have been a huge proponent of, you know, universal basic income and the idea that we should probably just start to realize that jobs are being taken away and they're never coming back. You feel me? But, like, PBS employed a lot of people, and it sucks that the fascist president decided to do that. Seriously, it's not good. Not good for Republicans, not good for Democrats, not good for fascists, not good for socialists, not good for anybody, right? It really isn't. So, you know, continuing on with the idea of censorship, we now know that, like, and this is tied into the third thing that we're talking about today, which is antitrust legislation, something that, you know, we probably don't know anything at all about, because I know the fascist jokes get tiring at some point, but, like, how can you describe it? You know, if it were just some general Republican debauchery, you know, I'd be calling it what it is, but that's not what it is. And it would be an insult to my lovely Republican friends out there who, you know, may or may not want some smoke with Trump, but I'm just saying, they're definitely not fascists, at least not in the way that the fascism is actually happening now here in America as we speak, all right? So, censorship and antitrust, right? So, like right now, Paramount and Skydance or Warner Brothers or, some one of these handful of companies that own the world's information and free-flowing data at any given point, they want to merge with them, like another company, right? And so, like, for some reason, the boomers and the old Xers are like getting into like cahoots and picking sides and trying to break the law freely while they can do that, right? Because the guy that is supposed to be enforcing lawful duties that concern finance and everyday infrastructure is simply allowing these things, right? So again, we've talked about this before. When criminal behavior is incentivized, there's no reason that crime will not happen because it is incentivized, right? So mergers are monopolistic and they go against capitalism. They go against a free market. And yet you're going to hear free market bigots and fascists argue for consolidation so that things can be easier and costs can be cheaper. Things don't get easier and costs only get higher. So I call that a lie. I'm just saying that's more than propaganda. That's a lie because it doesn't happen. You would want it to happen. It should happen, but it doesn't happen. So all that I'm saying is that when companies collude and they, become against the public's best interest, that's not good for anybody, right? It's not good for anybody, and that's why antitrust legislation is needed, so that there can be laws that say, hey, CBS, NBC, you guys are doing a real good job on your own, and I understand you want to make more money, but figure it out in another way, because there are too many conflicts of interest when big companies continue to merge all at the expense of BS lies so that it does nothing for the end consumer and only does everything for the very criminalistic proprietor of said, business or whatever. I mean, again, just do a little bit of research. Understand that antitrust legislation is something that is desperately needed. It is something that will never be talked about in the next 3 years. And as a result of that, you will see boomers continue to fight it out amongst taking out talk show hosts or whatever. Again, that is censorship. Now, while I might not be a huge fan of any of the late night Jimmys or the Stevens or the, whoever else, I mean, God, why are they all named Jimmy? Anyways, I'm just saying that, at the end of the day, I may not like their content. I may not watch it. I may not tell people to watch it or whatever. I may not be liked for that. You feel me? This is a character, but I'm just saying that, it's just weird to watch it all, right? It's just weird to watch a bunch of old people, battle it out over, free speech. It's just sort of yeah, you guys shouldn't be listening to a president that takes somebody off air, not because they said something offensive, but because it might mess with a business merger, and it might, that is already arguably illegal. I'm just saying, priorities, people. Anyways, I want to end today's video by talking about squirrels, okay? In case you didn't already know, there's some squirrel who's made national news because, obviously this squirrel is disgruntled and needs our attention because this squirrel has attacked a few people up in this one town here in America. I don't know where. I say up here. I'm down south in the southwest region of this part of the country, so anything is basically north from here. But anyways, there is a story trending about some neighborhood squirrel who's decided to take matters into his own hand. Who knows what's wrong with this guy? You guys don't know? Has anyone followed this squirrel or has yes, he might be attacking people unprovoked, but Jesus Christ, that's not normal, so he might need something. So what? Has anyone figured this out yet? Anyways, I encourage you guys to check it out on your own. It's this whole cool news story about this squirrel. Don't let the old MAGA Trump supporters fool you. Anyways, I gotta get out of character here because otherwise I'm about to get real mean. And I'm not judgmental when I'm in character, I promise. But look up that squirrel story and see what I'm talking about. Anyways, hey guys, my name's Albert. I don't know why I just said that, but it's not like I can edit it out. My name has changed from 14 minutes ago to now. Jesus Christ. One thing that definitely hasn't changed is the way that I feel like I look like Brock from Pokemon, dubbed on over to English. All of them. Ash Ketchum, whatever. Mandy, Mary. I'm just saying, I don't see my lips moving and it bothers me. Or I don't see a lip moving, right? Because we have two lips. Or we have... Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. I am all weirded out now because I'm out of character and I'm acting as if I'm still performing. It's a thin line, you know. It's a blurred line. I don't know what's wrong with me. Sometimes this happens, okay? Anyways, I'm getting ready to start my day. I hope that y'all are also either starting your day or, you know, I mean, I don't know. Eat things that make it so that you don't lose as many brain cells as I have over the course of my life. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Because otherwise, you might be... things are good. You feel me? Things are good. Other than, I guess, not knowing when to be myself and to be a caricature of myself is somewhat complicating to me. But other than that, everything's pretty good. You feel me? It's really important. Listen, censorship is happening. Antitrust legislation happening. Squirrels. All these different things. You feel me? Again, can't say thank you enough. There are so many people that are watching that socialism video. And again, you feel me? Like, that's obviously, that's what I want, you know? At the end of the day, my bar is real low, but I mean, the more people that know about socialism and the more people that understand that, like, you can have stuff in this country and you should have stuff in this country. You deserve stuff. You feel me? I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you've done. Again, like, that's not my concern, all right? As a politician, as somebody who will be your future president, none of that is my concern. It all is in a little way, right? But moreover, my concern is to make sure that, like, you have those things first, right? Like, money and stuff and an opportunity. Again, that's what I'm focused on, all right? Is, like, not the microcosms of, you know, whatever. It's just really focusing on some socialist ideology. Our country can afford it. It's time. It's been long overdue. Again, I'm not the guy, right? This should have happened 80 years ago. This should have happened after the First World War. I'm not, no joke, right? Like, no cap. This is something that happens. It's just the capitalists wanted to squeeze out another 100 years of profit, and by God, they did that. You know, we've given them that. They've done that. So now it's our turn. And I'm just saying, you know, we'll take 100 years, whatever. I just, you know, what's better is what works is what's better. You feel me? And what's better is what works, if that makes sense. And socialism is the only thing that works. Again, it's the only thing. There's just not another way. I wish there was, right? I do. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's kind of like, yeah, if everyone played fair and didn't collude to make sure you had nothing, I mean, yeah, like, it would be a pretty good idea, you know? The free market and not having the rules, because, oh, by God, the rules are dictated by market principles and supply and demand, you know? And all those different kinds of things, or whatever. The free invisible hand, that's what we're calling this or something. Anyways, so yeah, I obviously, I'm a huge fan of socialism, and I'm a huge fan of you guys watching my stuff. Seriously, so thank you very much. It's awesome, you know. I'm sitting here with my little skinny knee and my I'm in the middle of getting ready for my day. Okay, I actually do have stuff to do, and I need to get on that here in a little while, but I had to dress up all nice, right? Exactly. You know what I always tell people, right? Again, this is me. So it's like, at least take me to dinner first. You feel me? Because that would be nice. Ideally, if you took me to dinner first and then did whatever you did with me, you feel me? And then I had breakfast the following morning. That's essentially like how I'm trying to live. You feel me? Like, but at least take me to dinner, you know? At the very least, take me to dinner, please. It doesn't even have to be somewhere nice. It can be like, just let's stay away from McDonald's, please. I've had too much McDonald's in my life, and I'm mad at them. They took advantage of us for a long time. Anyways, all these different sidebars. I hope that you guys have a really awesome day. I don't know what's wrong with my hair, or again, this facial hair. It's just doing something to me, you know, like mentally. I don't know. I hope that you guys have a really good day. I feel like I need to eat more. I feel like I need to do a whole lot. So I better go work on all these things. All right. Thanks again for watching my show. I really appreciate it, y'all. Bye.